During this nodal transit through South Node in Scorpio, North Node in Taurus, you may find yourself in situations where you might need to let go of things. And indeed. And as I say again, um, it's really a mindset and a mentality to have. Um, and so, how we can let go when the North Node is in Taurus. Um, how we can let go in various ways. Well, you will know as you go through your own life and your own experiences, now big or small. Um, so yeah, it's super important to look at the opposition. So the opposite of where the nodes are. And more importantly, the high road of Scorpio. The high road of Scorpio, because that's going to be huge. The high road of Scorpio. How we can use something that is comfortable, a pathway that's going to feel good, feel like the form of it is good, and we'll get the results. And we will be evolving, it'll better serve us, and this and that. To do all that and the form does not feel good. Oh, for what? For being a cosmic slave to the system of you're never gonna get to that end, destination of the race to where, I mean, eventually, but, uh, but again, the journey and the experience. Something needs to be and feel good for you. Now, there are experiences that don't always feel good, but we do have to do them anyway. But this is a long term thing that we're talking about. I'm not talking about a week, I'm not talking about a month, I'm talking about 18 months. And I am probably more so talking about where the lunar nodes are in your natal chart. So it's really a marathon, not a sprint. And when you try to do something, it doesn't feel comfortable, then that helium from that balloon goes out. I mean, depends upon patience. Because I have this metaphor about patience as being a balloon. The balloon is filled up with helium, and you have a lot of patience. But then something keeps hitting your balloon, and a little hole is cracked. Or something else happens. Nonetheless, slowly but surely, helium fizzes out the balloon. And do you have the tools to patch it up? Can you patch it up? Or is it just going to come crashing down and then Mount Vesuvius is just going to explode? Where you've lost your patience. You're done doing it this way. You try and it doesn't work so good. It's counterintuitive. It's counter what would feel natural. Really surrendering to what does feel natural and authentic, and not overthinking and overworking and overworking and overworking to reach your North Node. It's so key. It's not about, oh, I had this in mind. Oh, I have to be so conscious and overwork to get to this place. Oh my gosh. No, not at all. Not at all. It's totally not what it is about. So I'm done talking about the nodal aspect of it. hopefully. But I just want to read to you this little quote. The root, and I'm gonna actually what I'm gonna do is I'm going to see. Okay. So it says um the root of all of our problems is not forgetting something that you have brought along on your vacation, not messing something up, and then being so attached to the form of, oh, I messed that up. Oh, I missed this opportunity. I talked about opportunities the other day when I made a video about taking advantage in the end. But the root of problems is the inability to let go of our feelings, our, just of the situation. Acceptance. It is what it is. Taurus is very, very grounded, very stable, very peaceful. Taurus is gentle, love. Scorpio is real intense, very real, and can involve a lot of negative areas. It can involve manipulation, it can involve possessiveness, jealousy, and the lower to Taurus possessiveness. I mean, possessing material possessions. But so the root of all of our problems is our inability to let go and just accept the situation for what it is. So, whatever is going on, whatever, it does not matter how gory, bad, uncomfortable, stressful, lacking, whatever the situation is, whatever it is, then I'm going to slow down. And can we come into acceptance? In terms of regrets, be realistic. You go all this way to the vacation, and it's one little thing out of your whole suitcase, then why go all the way back? And I really encourage you with me to breathe. Understanding that you can't go into the past and fix things in the past that have already been done. be so rigid and fixed in our mindsets. Now, I will admit, this is live. This is totally live. So I am going to actually admit that okay, what's more hookah? Sitting in a comfy chair like I am, looking at this computer screen, or sitting on a stool on May the 16th, 1971, and watching an old film when you feel like you want to get comfortable. Talking about the seating, and I move seating. So let's just, in this live is perfectly imperfect. That was a perfect imperfection. I'm not going to stop something just because, oh, it wasn't perfect. I'm not going to just, well, never say never. And we all may feel like, oh, I want to do this again. Or sometimes we feel like, nope, I want to be, nope, I want to be firm in myself to continue on with what I'm doing, despite anything that would happen. Anything, any change that you make, any knock on the door, any call from downstairs, how you can press on, keep moving on, and seeing beyond and not getting so caught up in the imperfections like this. No, this is sort of really dredging at the imperfections and digging into, getting so into the nitty gritty that this is more expansive. See how freeing this is. See how my fingers are clutched together and how I'm just stretching myself out. Stretching out. Stretching like, if you're in a pool or if you're um, doing yoga, doing an exercise or something. How you can stretch out. How they can be so healing and so freeing. So, yes. So, now, don't try to be something in the mind if you've tried it time and time again and oh, it's not inauthentic, it doesn't work out. Because it's not about overthinking and overthinking and overthinking. It's about releasing. It's about surrendering. I talked about gratitude and how it's not something to work at. It is something to tap into. I believe that it is a feeling that you feel. It is a state of being. And I think that with the Northern Taurus again, really, really tap into it. There's some areas of the left brain, logical mind that can lead us down the road of inauthenticity to where we need to bridge it with the spiritual realms and the real feelings that we have. dropping in, dropping down into something pure, into something more genuine and authentic. And authentic. Notice I emphasize that. So I would now kind of take a little time to now breathe. Maybe shut your eyes. Getting grounded. Okay. Letting things go. Just relax. Release. For a very, very visual version, you can imagine your thoughts floating in a stream. But it's not, again, it's not about overthinking and trying to imagine. No, because I have found that I tried doing that. It's not that relaxing. It's not about getting good at meditating. It's not one size fits all. You may have your own version of meditation or spiritual practices that help you get grounded. Everybody's different. Everybody works differently. Everybody finds different things that helps them connect with a higher power, helps them to feel enlightened, evolve, feel more positive, release, and feel grounded. I mean, there's so many things to say, I could say, but I think I summarized that pretty well. I mean, I could, I need to draw boundaries here because I want to continue. So, moving forward, I'm just going to read this. Letting go. Um, this gets into somebody's, you know, sort of firsthand personal experience. Trying to think of the word. Like first person. Like if you're writing in first person, you're using I. First, I looks like a one. I am the first. Well, I am the first because I'm an Aries. I'm the first sign of the zodiac. But well, it could also be in that you are number one because that's the truth. Because side note, full disclosure, you need to replenish, fill yourself up with gas to then be able to give and serve others. But then it comes from you nurturing yourself. It's all about North Node and Pisces. But these things, not like one way, this way, that way. No, it can intertwine. It can intertwine. It can overlap. So letting go implies that you have been holding on to something. It requires an object. There has to be something to let go of. We tend to latch on to certain expectations, ideals, or dreams, of visions, of plans that we thought it would go one way, but it turns out it goes the other way. You really, really wanted that pink lemonade from McDonald's, for example. Oh, they don't have it. What do they have that you can get? Oh, well, there's a really, really good strawberry shake. This position, this role is filled. Well, what role is second best? To be able to go into this option of choosing a dish to be able to eat or cook. Oh, somebody filled this. But then what can I take? What is there besides it? It's called Plan B. I mean, in that nature and respect. But maybe there's multiple Plan A's. There's more than one plan, more than one alternative or road to go down. I want to research this topic, but then, oh, somebody filled it. You can't do this. Oh, well, what can I do? What can I research? This book, you are given an assignment, playing the role of an English teacher. You are given an assignment to, one is to watch a movie, and analyze it. Other is read something, analyze it. Somebody took this, oh, well. Somebody took that. What is there also that I can take? What is another thing? That's not that, but what is another thing? What is another way of looking at the situation? I think back to, I remember watching Pollyanna, and she was very optimistic, very, very positive, took a negative situation and didn't see it through rose colored glasses. Saw it for how it was realistic, but positively realistic. You can be positive and realistic at the same time. There are several linings to things. You forgot your glasses, and it's very, very difficult to read. Oh, well, maybe you can take a break from that and do something else. I happen to forget slippers. What other options are there? Well, it's nice to change it up and feel something else on your feet, or um you may have those feelings, you may have those emotions, and as I'm talking, I am not the perfect expert on this, and we all have our own sort of feelings for this as well. I am just the messenger. I'm delivering this information, and I'm doing it now because, well, I feel I'm going to do this. So this is something you have to let go of. It could be an object, could be a dream. One of the things I was watching something about the millennials generation. Why? Um, and how things were pipe dreams, where they, worked so hard at the continual spinning wheel, and how that didn't work collectively, group consciously, as a generation, didn't really work out in their favor. So, what is a way of doing something that feels better? Another alternative way that's going to feel more positive, that's going to feel, it's going to feel like a higher vibration, a higher frequency. So, um, so our attachment of wanting things to be a certain way, attachment to these things cause us to have problems. Attachment is really root of suffering. And again, the no is Northern Taurus is not about, oh, attach, and suffer. You know, make the money, get the, go to this job, do the, you know, shoe cut. I don't know. But no, where the Buddha, I believe that he is a Taurus sun, Scorpio moon. Don't take my word for it. Don't take my word for it. I'm not making that up. How Taurus is so attached in Scorpio at the high level, Taurus at the high level could evolve and let go of things. Releasing, surrendering, allowing for the feelings to come, allowing for them to be there, allowing for the imperfections of things to be there. Detaching from material if it is not serving you, if it is causing suffering, causing you to feel negative, upset, angry, this and that. So go on. What kind of problems? Number one is stress. So it says getting stressed out is often a reaction that we have to wanting things to be or go a certain way. And we tend to get even more stressed when things don't actually pan out and go the way that we want them to go. I thought that I had everything here. Turns out I didn't have it. And that's just a small example. And we all have our own examples in our life at some point or another. All of us. All of us. For instance, okay. Um, you know, I remember going to a restaurant with my family. Oh, and it was packed. Oh, then we went to this Italian restaurant down the street. I remember hearing this little anecdote about a family who lived next door to us. And they were like, oh, this one night we decided to go to Buffalo Wild Wings, but it was packed. We then decided to go to Burger King, but it was packed. We then decided to go to Applebee's, and lo and behold, it wasn't packed. Third time's a charm, three is the magic number. Well, I mean, not every time, although in that case, it worked out in their favor. But, that three strikes and you're out, I mean, people say that for a reason. But so anyway, unfortunately, sometimes things don't go as you hope that they would go. I'm reading this from what I'm seeing right now. This is off of whentisnotforever.com. Um, recognizing that again, I've said this before. Least thing need to control the situation. Accepting the reality of what is. At least accepting it. It starts from acceptance. Starts from the acknowledgement, the inner acknowledgement, a relaxed place. Okay, this is what happened, and it may be hard sometimes to accept. And I am saying this like I'm not the master spiritual, you know, expert here. Um, you know, somebody can be an expert, but there is no expert because we're all lifelong learners. Yes, somebody can be very knowledgeable about something, but nobody knows everything about something. There's always more to learn as you go through life. Not just about one thing, but a lot of things. So because continuing to experience stress, and even correcting that wouldn't make a lot of difference at all. By continuing to experience this, experiencing stress, and put up resistance to a situation that's out of your control will only prolong suffering. Now, the second thing, feeling emotionally taxed about things that have happened, are happening, or could happen. Entirely too often, this is me reading from this, we get anxious, frustrated, angry, depressed about things that A, have happened to us, B, are happening to us, or C, might happen to us. We can't stop thinking about them. So the past, the present, and what if this, what if that. And I'm saying this as it's no light matter. This is a serious thing that I'm talking about. And I feel it as I'm talking about it. I feel that as I am talking, it makes so much sense intellectually. But this is about the experience. Like, I want to be real. This is about the experience. So, da 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 da. Da. So, too often we obsess about the past. About all the books that you didn't finish, all about other letters that you could have sent as thank you notes for a wedding. All of this stuff, all of these things. We're playing things that happened in our heads. over and over and over and over and over. That same broken record. Where is it getting you? Where is it getting you? We experience anger when we have to deal with insane situations to the present. This is what it says. We ceaselessly worry about the future, trying to think through different scenarios and better prepare ourselves in some way for what might be coming. Another thing that I want to add to this, preparing ourselves for the future, oh, this didn't work out. Oh, I'm going to learn from this. I'm going to prioritize. I'm going to put this, and be more responsible, be this, be that, and be better next time. How guilt can be a very, very positive thing because it can teach you not to do those things again. For some random reason, I threw my phone and I felt guilty. And I was like, it didn't break. It's perfectly fine. I'm not going to risk this again. I'm not going to do this again. That's what it took. That is what it took. And I want to be honest about these little anecdotes. I mean, not all of them, obviously, but some, because there are these natural right limits to place on what I can say, what would be right to say. How we can look to others to give us the positive, maybe big picture focus, perspective. Oh, well, making you feel more positive. Because it may feel this way. Oh, it might be hard to make yourself feel a different way. How others' positive energy. No one's getting on you. No one is blaming. No one is shaming. Nobody is hurting, demeaning, teasing, insulting you for forgetting this. Where you're the one feeling these feelings. And I mean, this can depend upon various situations. It's not all black and white. It's not like a Doorman film. It's not all black and white. Um, but what is another alternative? So, trying to think through different scenarios and better. Okay, so again, we can only sometimes change or impact what's happening around us in the present moment. I'm going to stop. Take a look around. What are you seeing in this moment? I see a lamp. I see a striped wall. I see a painting of a house with bushes and leaves around it. That rehearsing of the past, how it can cause dis-peace. I created it. Dis-peace, the lack of peace. They say it's water under the bridge. What's done is done. What's done has been done. Life is perfectly imperfect. We all make mistakes. We all forget things. Things don't always go according to plan. And that's just how it is. That's just we are all human. And I'm not making that out to be a bad thing at all. Because again, because I talked about this before in my cusp live stream over the Pisces Aries cusp. There's positive compassion and negative compassion. Positive compassion is, oh, I'm uplifting you, I'm encouraging you, I'm giving you positive energy, positive thoughts. I want to make you feel positive. I want you to feel positive. I'm helping you. This doesn't have to be a bad thing. Whereas, oh, I'm so sorry, you poor thing. That's discouraging, more negative compassion. So, especially as Neptune goes into Aries, which one are we going to use? Which one would be best for us to use? And which path do we want to go down? Um, so we need to let go. Letting the strings go for so high strung. Oh, it has to be perfect. It has to be this. Letting go. And being honest. Being honest with ourselves. Yeah. I forgot this. I didn't do this. All those things. So the third thing is frustration and irritation with others. You might not feel like singing that song, others, 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 others. No, this is not, obviously going with the title of the third thing. So, when people don't behave in the way that we'd like them to, we typically react by feeling irritated or frustrated with them. At its core, this reaction is all about controlling them and how they're reacting and how they're behaving and what they're saying, what they're doing, you know, all those things, actions and verbal words. Um, and how maybe we have something and we take it out on others or something else. So it's all about control. We want someone to behave a certain way, but we can't force them to behave in that way. So we only want control over them, and over the situation leaves us feeling impotent and annoyed. Um, so this can be something too. And struggling with loss or death is another one. Fear. Fear. More than likely, there are a number of fears limiting you in your approach to life. Limited, fixed, negative ways of thinking. And each of those fears at its core has to do with holding on to how we want things to be. Whether it's fear or failure, a fear of letting go of control, a fear of abandonment. This is not my words. I don't want to be a used car salesman that says, "Oh, astrology angels told me, tell you this." I'm reading this from this. I'll put the link to this so that you can follow along and so that you can know when I'm reading and when I am not. So, um, a fear of abandonment or of trusting others, a fear that you're not good enough. You don't have enough to be satisfied. or a fear of not being accepted for who you are. All these fears, same situation. Letting go of the anxieties, the fears, all of that stuff. All of that stuff. Um, so, by holding on to how we want things to be, there is also an intrinsic holding on to the fear that things won't turn out the way that we want them to. We need them to. It says, you need to let go of your expectations or ideals to release the fear of not having them come to fruition. Learn to accept and trust yourself as well as the present moment, reality. That thing that you see inside a metal frame, reality. Going into it, oh, it doesn't look like something that you see only in a metal frame, where you're in it and you're grounded into it. But this also calls to mind fly on your bird, a meditation all about being so into something that you're rising above the fray. You're rising above the feelings that you feel, all this negative feelings. Going up, flying on this creature, this winged creature up in the sky, and feeling at peace, feeling liberated, feeling better, so much better, enlightened, all these types of things like that. Um, Having control over life and others. So, falling victim to the illusion that we have control, but we really don't. We are powerful beings, powerful spiritual beings. This is all about having control. Low road of Pisces, being a victim to the flow of energy, the flow of circumstances, events, and all the conscious things. How we can take control, how we can be a leader, how we can be powerful and control at the healthy high level. Letting go and accept, um, and stop controlling others. So everything is impermanent. Things change. Circumstances change. Everything. Um, and it's going with the change. It's flowing with the change because it is for the better. Because we can gain something from it. Because there is something that we can learn and take away from it that we did not have before. um, Coming in. So, confronted with change, impermanence, and loss, we respond to resistance. It's natural to resist change. Instead of resisting, we need to accept the change in the nature of life. We can't alter that, and there's no point in fighting it. Stop fighting. Surrender. Doing so will only cause us to suffer. Letting go sounds so simple, but it's not. Problems are integrated by us, ingrained by us. um, but so it says, in order to let go, we need to dig down deep and realize that you don't need protection. You don't need, all the stability and security that I talk about with South Node Taurus. Um, so it's again natural to resist change, um, where we want to keep things away, all those types of things. Um, let's get real. Um, and I'm saying that matter of factly. So dig down deep and um, everything will work out in the end. That eventually everything will work out in the end. I talk about, I did a live for Russia, Ukraine situation, Northern and Taurus, healing for this time. That's what the live stream is called. And I talk about how good will always prevail in the end. Or, or what good is there? What are the good things? What are the positive things? Not the negative things. What are the silver linings to all these negative circumstances and situations? How can we raise the vibration to rising above the fray? And just so if you're able to let go, and I want to say this because this is highlighted. Um, so if you're able to let go and start accepting things as they are instead of how you'd like them to be, you'll find that you'll suffer less from the problems of stress, emotional ties to the past or future, frustrations with others, struggle with loss, and succumbing to fear. By letting go, you'll set yourself free. Now, another thing, forgiveness. The song Walls by Barbara Streisand. I was watching this show called I'm going to do it. La Brea. La Brea. And it's about this group of people in New York City. They have fallen down this sinkhole, which is like a rip through time. They fall into 10,000 BC. This mother and son have a really strained relationship, or not a very good relationship at all, because of something the mother did that the son was very displeased by, which is the biggest understatement, mad by, hated her for doing, and how he just could not forgive. It's very, very difficult because it's hard to carry burdens. And in that situation, there comes a time when differences need to be put aside and peace needs to be drawn, where you can walk the wide bridges of peace and walk down and open the door to peace. It can be on level ground or it can be walking up the stair step, growing and learning one step at a time till you can open that door to peace. I mean, never has perfect more than one, and life is a journey. But anyway, how it's so freeing to forgive, to forgive, to have compassion, to have understanding, to let go and draw the bridge instead of building that wall where you are inside the wall and then that person is on the other side, and there's a barrier, there's a wall between you. I mean, in Waiting for God, this is just an example of this, where it was both metaphorical and emotional at the same time, and there was a wall, and how this big machine can just, which is the universe, destroying the wall. There's not that boundary. So you are given an opportunity to let go and open up. And this wall can be not only relationships to people, but also feelings of wanting things to be the way they are, releasing it, and finding freedom and finding peace in doing this. And that is what I want to say about letting go. Thank you for tuning in.